Warning, this program features viewpoints of our host, our guest. They're their own viewpoints. These viewpoints may not represent other hosts, other guests, individuals, or their employers. So please enjoy the show. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Put 'em on the Glass podcast. I am your host, James, the Ghost Set Killer, and today's guest is
Jaymie Percival.
Jaymie Percival. Jaymie Percival. You've been on my show before.
I have.
Oh, and you've been on the IGA show of Shatterproof.
I have.
And you are a board member.
I am.
Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Okay, so with saying that, I want to, because we're seeing a lot of this insurance stuff and everything that's going down. Sorry, I had to set my keyboard down. How are you dealing with business? Is business good in your area?
No.
No.
No. Slow. It's been slow. I mean, even last year was slower than normal. I mean, I noticed it during the summer because even for me in the summertime, I'm used to being 2-3 days booked out. And this last summer, I wasn't booked out ahead of time at all. I could technically still take same day work. So it's been unusually slow. I mean, it went dead. It almost went dormant in November.
Oh.
Even when I did go up to a lot of the distributors, they were asking me, have you ever seen it this slow? And I had to be honest, no. Even when 9/11 hit, I don't remember it being this slow.
Yeah, let's remind our listeners, you have been a OG technician / owner for a long time. Is that correct? I mean, we talked about it on our last show, but this isn't like, oh, I've only been in it 5 years and this is slow as I've seen it. Go ahead, how long have you been?
I've been in the industry since 1992, and I've owned my business since 2016.
Yeah, you saying that is kind of like one of those, whoa, pump the brakes, let's pay attention, because Jaymie's seen it all. Like, Jaymie has seen some, you've been in the weeds with us, because like I'm 03, so I ain't even nowhere near. Like, you've got seniority on my old ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at this Santa Claus looking motherfucker. But anyways, why do you think it died? I mean, what do you think is leading to the death of, like, because everyone's slow, it seems like.
I think a lot of it is because of the new technology that has been coming out on these windshields. These customers can no longer pay a couple $100. Like, they can't really walk in or even call a glass shop and go, hey, I need a windshield for my 2017, Infinity. It's not a couple $100. They're literally having to put these on credit cards and make payments on these windshields, which is not something that the public is used to doing, and I think, and when you think about it, they now offer financing for tires. And I saw a post not too long ago about somebody talking about, hey, has anybody considered allowing their customers to finance? And I'm like, we're going to have to, because some of these windshields are getting up into the $1,000, $1,500 mark because of the amount of technology, the size of the glass, all the moldings on the glass. These people don't have the normal everyday blue collar working man does not have $1,000 out of his pocket to pay for a windshield. I think that contributes to it. I also think that the economy, we're not in a good place with the economy. And then, of course, 2024 was an election year. The election
Mhm.
year, election time for a president, it always affects the auto glass industry, not just the auto glass industry, the auto industry, period. Because in this case, we had a president that was about to take office who has been telling us throughout his entire process that he's going to impose tariffs.
Mm,
Well, what industry is that going to affect greatly? The auto industry, the auto
mm.
glass. So all of that comes into play as to why our industry is slow. And I think really the biggest part of it is because you can't get a windshield for $200 anymore.
Well, what you said there was something that a lot of business owners should think about. Putting it on a credit card, you're looking at anywhere from 21 to 29% interest for these customers. So I would be hesitant to put it on a credit card too, because if it gets out of control, and then next thing you know, you're drowning. And you said it, like blue collar workers, like I mean, don't have $1,000 just to throw away. I don't have $1,000 to throw away. I mean, I don't. I mean, historically I've never, raising kids, and it's pretty much been paycheck to paycheck for me. Like it really, and still is paycheck to paycheck for me. It's still not like like I'm like, hey, you got no, absolutely not. $1,000, like something comes up $1,000, I'm like, whoa, let me pivot, let me figure out what's going on here, let me try to, because it just, you're right, absolutely. And we're asking them to put this $1,500, $2,000 piece of glass on their credit card when they've got other things to buy. And do you see the downturn continuing? Do you see us getting slower, I guess I should say, or do you feel it'll pick back up come summer?
Well, our market typically does pick back up because, we have hail season, we have tornado season. So that season is usually from around May to the end of June. It's rare that we see a hailstorm after June, but it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, I do think so. As people, return back to the office to go back to work, that's the other thing. You've got a lot of people working from home still. Not as many, but they are still working from home. But as they start to get back in the office and coworkers start talking, oh, hey, I had to get my windshield replaced, you're not going to believe how much it cost. And in my market, we have a lot of really high deductibles. I mean, I had a customer who's driving a newer Mercedes, and her deductible was $2,000. She was paying out of pocket no matter what.
Mm.
We're on the norm for us. I see a lot of $500 and $1,000 deductibles. So a lot of times when those people are calling around because they think, oh, I'm not gonna have to pay my deductible. Someone's gonna waive that, and then when they start calling multiple glass companies and hearing, yeah, sorry, we can't waive your deductible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear rumors of Safelot calling these insureds and going, yeah, if you'll switch to Safelot, we'll waive your deductible. And I'm like, how are they doing that?
Yeah, how are they doing that? Like, are they able to bill a higher bill, like submit a higher bill to these insurance companies to be paid more? Because yeah, how are you? I get it. Quantity will kind of make up for waiving deductibles, but like, okay, this may share my ignorance, and apologize to everybody, but I thought growing up, and I still kind of, I'm not sure how this works, but if a company was to waive your deductible, it was illegal. It was insurance fraud, is what I was told. Now, maybe that was my parents and my grandparents and people in the community protecting me from a potential of something happen or whatever. But every time there was an accident or anything, it was like, oh my God, how am I going to pay? So I've always went for the lowest deductible because, yeah, it might be a little bit higher per month, but I know I don't have that extra $500 to $1,000 laying around to pay for something. I've got to let something else go to pay for that, especially when my kids were younger. When my kids were younger, it was struggle busting it. I'm not even going to try to pretend and be like, oh, I'm gonna do, absolutely fucking not. There was times it's like, oh my God. And then now it's like, okay, do I drop $250 on groceries, or do I pay my $250 deductible? Because my deductible is usually about 100 to 250. I don't let it get over 250 because I can't afford it. Like, honestly, it's like, do I put $250 in groceries now, which is like a week's worth of groceries? Or do I pay my deductible in an accident? Obviously, I'm going to pay my deductible because my car is how I get to work and everything. But it's It's a lot. Is it illegal to waive deductibles? I guess is the question.
I think it's state to state. I think those are based on state laws. I know in Texas it's a big no-no,
Mm.
but I can't speak on any other state. I know my mother worked for State Farm her entire career. And I asked my mom, and my mom was like, well, State Farm greatly frowns upon it. There's a
Mm.
reason there's a deductible, and it's to hold that insured accountable.
Mm-hmm.
It made sense because if you know in the back of your head you're gonna have to shell out a $500 deductible if you're out driving your car 100 miles an hour, it might slow you down a little bit. Uh,
Oh, okay, yeah, reckless driving or something. If you
right,
have to pay, yeah.
right. It might slow you down a little bit. But when I talk to some of these people and ask them, hey, are you doing insurance or paying out of pocket? Well, I don't know. I'm waiting for my insurance company to call me back because I don't know what my deductible is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how do you set up your insurance policy and you don't know what your deductible is? It's amazing how clueless it. All they care about is how much are they going to pay a month.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that's how you base your budget,
Right. Not,
especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck. I mean,
yeah.
let's figure it out. Like back in the day, I was making around $18,000 when I first got into this industry, and it was like, okay, that hurt, but it wasn't terrible. I mean, it was, and then I got up to when I was installing around the $40,000 mark, like pretty close to it, and it was still at $40,000, like in today's market, like it was hard. It was hard, even with my kids grown and out of the house. It was hard being right there at that, and I get it. We're skilled trades in there, and it's hard for businesses to survive. But like, $40,000. I want to know what I'm paying per month. I'm not even gonna lie, I really do. Only reason why I check into my deductibles was because of the fact is I don't want to be stuck with $1,000 deductible and then have to drive a car that's all beat up that I've paid all this money for. But like, I can understand why people were like, tell me how low I have to pay because I'm budgeting for the month and then I'll deal with something if it happens. And unfortunately, it's credit cards. And that's where, people get into the trouble of drowning in credit cards. And, I'm definitely not the one to take financial advice from. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend, I'm definitely not the one to, but I can understand the struggle, and hopefully things get a little better for shops because I don't want to see the independents start closing up because business is so slow and the only way you can survive if you're a larger company. What's your feelings on that?
I don't want to see the reputable independents closing down. It wouldn't hurt my feelings for all these hacks who've been doing it for 50 and $100 over the top of the cost of the glass.
Hmm?
Wouldn't hurt my feelings at all for them to go do something else. Is that going to happen? Not likely. I had an associate call me Saturday. He had just left one of the bottom feeder shops here in my area, literally a stone's throw from my house. He said he could not believe how many cars were waiting there for installs. And I was like, yeah, but do you know if they were installs, or do you know because of after all this rain we just had, are they doing
Are
refills?
they doing warranties?
Right. And one of the customers that was there actually approached him because even though they have a calibration system, they don't use it. But I get the feeling from talking to some of their customers that they're telling these customers that they've attempted and they've charged them
Wait, for an attempt?
for, yes, they charged them for an attempt.
Why? How are you getting away charging for an attempt? I don't.
I
That would
know,
be like, listen, your car doesn't have any oil in it, but I have to charge you because I attempted to put your drain plug back in that I stripped out. Like I don't.
right. I don't know how they get away with it either. And I know they're cheap, but they were back and they approached my associate because he was there to pick up a door glass. He has a small warehouse over there, so he wanted to pick up this part so he could take care of his customer. And one of their customers approached him and said, "Hey, um, do you do calibration?" And he was like, "Well, of course I do." Well, they've already attempted once. We're back up here for them to attempt it a second time. If they are unsuccessful, do you think you could do it? And he said, well, what are they charging you? What do you mean they're unsuccessful? $390 is what they were charging this couple to calibrate their camera. I about fell over because I told him, "You got to be kidding me!" Because I get probably the same customer calls that they get, and I can't sell them at 250.
Yeah, that's what I'm
They,
at. I'm at 250. I'm at 250.
I was like, "You got to be!" I was shocked, and so he basically told them, number one, that's too much money. They should not be charging you, especially if they've attempted and they failed. They absolutely should not be charging you that much. Secondly, these people drove an hour to get to their shop.
Okay. Okay,
They
hold on.
live.
Why? Why? Okay, this is what I need to understand. I get that these shops are cheaper, but how are they able to sell a technology like ADAS at 390? They're driving an hour away, and then it's a temp. They're able to charge them for an attempt. You want to charge
No.
them for a diagnostic charge? Okay, I get that. Like, okay, we couldn't get it to calibrate. We're going to charge you $25 for a diagnostic each way, so $50, to make sure
Hmm.
there's no codes or however you want to do that. But I don't understand how you can charge for an attempt. And then, like, what is their sales pitch that's getting these customers in the door at that, Jaymie?
I've I've done that call where, hey, I have such and such. There is no sales pitch, and they are cheap. And then they're still telling people, well, you may or may not need to calibrate that. It just depends. And that was these people's problem, was every light on their dash, on their instrument panel, was lit up. And
Yeah.
okay, I get that. So my associate wound up telling them, look, if they can't calibrate it this time, do not pay them a dime.
Mm.
He told them, I can do it for you because you're here. I'll meet you over here somewhere else. Because he's using the Augie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he said, I can do it for you for 200 and get you back on the road. So he left because he had to go do his job. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, prepared, you're going to get that call. And he did tell me, he said they had a kid walking around with the tablet going, I think we need to drive this one. I think this one you drive. And I was like, oh my God.
Wait, he's walking around the tablet, so he's their ADAS expert, and he's like, "I think you need to drive this one. I think this one's a driving one. This one may be a snack. I think this one's a driving one." So I do know there was a comment that a gentleman left on one of him and I kind of went back and forth a couple times. It was a great conversation, but he had a great point. Is when you take it to the dealership and you think you're getting these recals, and it's usually just a high school kid that they have working part time just for what they give him or her the tablet, and send them over, and they try to recalibrate or they hook up to it, said, "Oh, there's no codes," and send them down the road, kind of thing. And it sounds like that's what this shop did. Is like, "Oh yeah, I think we need to drive this one," and I mean, there's a skill set to that as well, even though you're reading a tablet most of the time instruction wise, but there's a skill set to that. There really is a skill set to figure out how the camera is operational, to figure out troubleshooting. And yeah, that surprises me. That like just like
Yeah.
realistically.
My mind was blown. I couldn't believe it when and he called me specifically to tell me that. And I was like, that's
Mm.
crazy. I can't get these people to pay just off the top an easy windshield with an easy calibration. I can't get them to pay 400 over cost. I get told that's too high. And then to hear him 390 just
90.
for a calibration.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm
There's
like,
something. There's something there that's kind of weird. That the bottom feeders, because they're cheap on the installation, and they tell them maybe, maybe not. They get them in there, and then they're like, "Well, we need to really try to attempt it, or whatever." Or they let it go, and it comes back with lights on the dash. Oh yeah, well we told you they might need it. Now you have to pay. Then they can charge them the $400. I mean, good. Your friend
maybe.
had, yeah, your friend had the Augie and could actually, get them calibrated. The Augie seems like one of those systems that would be good in that situation. Like, because you would have them call in and then they would actually set the targets up for you and all that. Like, it'd really be one, especially when there's a bunch of trouble and they're not really calibrating it and tell them to calibrate it, having that remote source of the Augie in that situation. Because I favor, because of my I guess you want to say, pickiness, I like setting the stands up myself. I like reading the tablet. I like, like for me, the Augie takes too much of me out of the equation. So for me, I want the stand. I want the targets. I want to do the measurements. I want to run the tablet. Because at the end of the day, I don't want someone else to run my glue and then me to set on it and then it's my job. So the Augie for me would be like, they're doing everything. I just set the machine on there basically. So that's why for me, a machine, like an actual setup, is better for me, because I want to be the one that's like, okay, I did something wrong there, or there's something cool, or it goes through. It's like, okay, yeah, I did everything right. Because, yeah, like I said, I wouldn't want. I respect you. I've seen you work. I think you're amazing. But if you run the glue, I will set with you, but it's your job. You know what I mean? I'm not putting my name on it. Like I've had a technician a couple times come in at where we were training, like at Richardson when I was there, and it was like, how do you know whose job's who? I said, whoever runs the fucking glue, that's whose job it is. You can cut it out, you can do everything else, but whoever preps the glass and runs the glue, that's whose job it is, because those are the two most important parts you have to nail for the safety of that customer to be in there. So, like, I'm not going to, like I said, I've watched you work, Jaymie, and I think it's amazing. And you are just, okay. Let's just call it what it is. You're one of the best in the world, period. I mean, there's a handful of us, and you're in there. And I still wouldn't set on your beat and put my name on it. I'm sorry.
But I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like when I work for companies where they'd send two people out, I would always be like, if my counterpart grabbed the caulking gun and he ran the glue, your job, brother.
That's right. That's right. This is your job. You better put your name on it. You better be able to sleep at night, because if you don't run that, and I bet you feel the same way about me. If I ran the bead, it's my job. It's not yours. You could have done the whole job. I show up to help you, and I'm like, I jump in and start running the urethane bead. You're like, okay, you better be willing to put your name on it, because that's yours. And where you own your own company, you're not going to let me run the bead. You'll be like, yo, get your ass off of that. Go find something else to do. You know what I mean? Help me set it.
You go get the suction cups and put them on the glass.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. Did you see that I got to tour the woods?
Yes.
Okay. So
I saw you guys like that. Had to have been awesome.
Oh, so we were in Montana, right? And at this point, I didn't realize, like, I've used them my whole career. I got my first set in 03. Anyways, I didn't realize they were in Montana, and they were right down the road from where we were. So I asked one of the guys if we could go in there. He's like, nah, they got like a little showroom you go in if you're exchanging cups. He's like, but they don't let anybody in the factory. So I cold called. I literally cold called and talked to Mary at the desk, and then she put me in contact with Holly. And then Holly, I was like, I basically laid it on the line. Like, I'm a huge fan. Please, like, I'm excited to be here. I want to come out. Like, you don't understand. Like, this is like candy to me. So she talked to a few people, then she called back. She was like, we can do 3 of you, but because of, and you have to have, the composite toe, you have to make sure you're wearing glasses, all the safety stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah. So myself and a couple of my friends went over there, and literally, it was awesome. We met Trevor and oh my God, what's the other guy's name? I can't remember the other guy's name right now on top of my head, and I apologize to him if he watches the show, because my brain doesn't work like that sometimes. But met those guys, and they took us around, and it was like kid in a candy store. Like, it's amazing. Like, I hope to get back over there, because I'm gonna make my own set of cups. I'll make my own set of cups, and I'm gonna make them pink. And I'm gonna, like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna lean on them until that happens. Cause yeah, I'll fly back over there especially for that. I'll lean on them, and then they say, yeah, come on. Like, and it's to see a part of our industry that we use so much, and everybody knows, and we're all part of that group that knows that, and to find out it's made here at home. It's made by people like us, Jaymie, that care about what we do. Each one of those technicians to put that together, each one of the stations, they cared. They were testing each part. They weren't just slapping them together, throwing in a box. They were testing each part. They were making sure everything was straight. They were running the CNC machines. They were doing the laser cutting. They were welding, whatever they were doing for that, because they make the big cups for setting huge pieces of glass and stone, and fully automated and all that, which was cool to see. But each one of those professionals took their job seriously. So for me, that was like so awesome to see. So it's like, yeah, I'll pay the extra money for the Woods cups because I know what I'm getting is quality, and the fact that you could always get it back to them. Like realistically, like everyone's like, oh, you can't rebuild them. 100%, they sell them. They sell those rebuild kits still. Were you told you couldn't get the rebuild kits anymore? Because I was about 6 years ago. They just exchanged
Yeah.
the cups. Yeah,
Oh
they.
no, I've been buying rebuild kits from them for years. I've got a set of the old, I call them stick cups. Just has the straight up handle.
Yeah.
They're my original cups. I don't use them anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell by looking at them, they're my original cups.
Yeah.
But the other day I saw them and I was like, I wonder if those things would even. So I have glass coffee table. I walked over, pop, 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 pop. It held. I was like, I'll be damned. So,
Yeah.
but I don't use them anymore because I don't trust them.
Yeah,
They're old.
well, yeah, and anybody who's listening to this, call to action. If you have a set of those OG Woods cups, show them up. You know, put them on the post. You know, show them
Yeah.
up and tag Trevor and them in the Woods cups because I'm sure they'd be excited to see it because they had the whole display of all their. And then there's new black plastic ones that are like almost a stick, but they're D handle as well. They're kind of like the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are cool. Like, we had some at the Auto Glass University when I was teaching there, and they were nice. And they bought Aegis tools, so you can get all your Aegis tools through Woods Power Cup now. They redesign. Yeah, they. I'm sorry.
I have two sets of those Aegis black handle cups.
Mm-hmm.
Both of mine are still the aluminum handles.
Yeah, and they've got like they bought that, so they've got all those products. They redesigned the Neo and the case for the Neo, and it's pretty nice. Like it's got a few new features, which is cool on the Solo Neo. So yeah, if you need Aegis Cup needs, get a hold of the Woods Power Cup people because they'll take care of you and get you all straight in their way. I know Trevor is on the Facebook page, so look him up because he'll hook you up. He posted a few things to get that, but I digress. That was a cool field trip, and anywhere I go that has like any kind of auto glass stuff, like if it's warehouses, if it's I'm down for it. Like I'm an auto glass nerd. Like I really love that stuff. I really do. It was cool. I was super pumped. I couldn't believe how excited I was. I was like, yeah, you motherfuckers don't know me. I get excited about all kinds of stuff.
Here I come.
Yeah, it's like like yeah, that's me. But all right, so we talked about you being one of the best in the world, and I actually got the privilege of judging you this year in the competition. And as of not seeing you install up until that point, not seeing your technician practice, not seeing anything, I wasn't sure what to see. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure what I was going to see because people can talk a big game online and everything, and then you watch them and you're like, really? Are you? But honestly, I was very, very pleasantly surprised with how good you are. And I know you've been in this a long time, but at what point in your career did you say, okay, I've really got to take this seriously? Or have you always been like that?
I guess when I really started to take it seriously, I mean, when you're young and you get into something, you're like, and for me, this wasn't supposed to be long term for me. This was not supposed to be my career. You
Oh.
know, I graduated with a business management degree, and installing glass was not supposed to be my career. That's not what I envisioned. It just happens to be the path I took after I graduated because I was already in working for Safelite in their warehouse. And when they switched over their software system, it kind of did away with my position in the warehouse. So I got put into retail. And really, the only reason why I started to learn even then was to just because we were always shorthanded. I was just trying to help the guys move a little faster to get to the new customer because the next customer is in the shop wanting to know, when am I going to get done? You know that. You know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got multiple customers sitting in the shop and their car's still sitting in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
So when Safelite did their reorg and closed all their shops and went to one location, and that's when I got put in a van. That's when I started taking it a little bit more seriously because when the warranty came back, it was my name all over it.
Yeah.
And it no longer, hey, we got a warranty. 3 of us touched this car. That wasn't the case when I went in the van. I was the only one who did it. And the biggest eye opener for me, and I'd actually done the job correctly. I'd gone out to do this job. He was a retired military general or something. He was high ranking. He wrote a 5-page letter to Safelite about me coming out to replace the windshield. I remember it was a Subaru. He pitched a fit. I mean, his entire letter did nothing but demean women. And he was married. And I never spoke to the man. His wife came out. I spoke to her. She brought me the keys. I gave her the keys. She paid. I left. Never spoke to the man. I did see him in the window, but I never spoke to him. And so he wound up, Safelite told him to bring his car to the shop. He brought his car to the shop. And my supervisor at the time, he was a jerk. So, like, hey, you're going to redo this job and I'm going to watch you. Because they brought me into the conference room and showed me this customer's letter. All I could do was stand there with my mouth open. I was like, what the hell? So they didn't have my back. That's when I learned right real fast. They're going to throw you under the bus. If to save their own ass, they will throw you under the bus.
Mm.
So I redid the job. I did it the exact same way I did it the first time, with my supervisor watching me. And he goes, well, I don't understand what this guy's bitching about. It clearly says in his letter what he's bitching about. The fact that a woman came out and did his windshield is exactly what he's bitching about. And you just had me do his job again.
Mm-hmm.
I said, it doesn't say anywhere in there that a molding came off. It doesn't say anywhere in there that there was an air noise or that it was a water leak. It clearly stated it was a female. So at that point is when, and the worst thing that Safelite could have done, especially their management, was come to me every time they got a phone call. Well, hey, this lady's husband called, and he's all concerned because we sent a female out to do his job. Why they brought that to me, I don't know, because the CSRs had gotten to the point where they started reassuring them, hey, look, she knows what she's doing. We wouldn't send her out there if we didn't think she could do the job. But every time they got a phone call, or every time they got an email, that got brought to my attention.
Mm.
So that was another reason that drove me to be better than everybody else. Because no matter what, even if I do a fantastic job, it's going to be scrutinized because that woman came out here to do my job. So I wanted to be better so I wanted to be so good that when they went and looked at that vehicle, they could not find anything wrong with it.
Nice. Okay, you saw that wall. I mean, it was brought to your attention. How did you not just want to be like, all right, I'm not standing in this. Fuck, I get the drive. I 100% get the drive, but at some point, too many times of being questioned, it had to be like, you know what, fuck you guys. Or, excuse my language, but it had to be like that. And is there ever a point in your career where you just wanted to walk away?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I did finally tell Safelite stick it and walked away, because when I was there, I can't speak of today, and I've been gone from Safelite for almost 20 years, so I cannot speak of the management they have in place today, their mindset today. I don't know, but the mindset and the management when I was there was, we were scum of the earth technicians. We were not the best in the market. That nobody else is going to hire us because we suck. I mean, that's literally what they told us in technician meetings.
Oh.
Well, you guys can't go work for nobody else is going to hire you. Y'all are just, no one's going to hire you. So when I finally left and I kind of put the word out, because even then, Safelite wasn't real. They did not like us going to the distributors. They always sent the warehouse to go pick up parts, and then we would go back to Safelite's warehouse to grab it because they did not want us at the local warehouses.
Yeah.
And I don't notice, you very rarely see a Safelite vehicle at a local warehouse.
Yeah.
They don't have technicians over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of put the word out before I left Safelite that I was leaving, thinking I got to get the word out now. I got to find a job. I'm hoping someone will hire me. Well, I had a guy. I just happened to go to a warehouse one day to pick up a part, and he goes, "Hey, I understand you're looking for a job." Yeah. So I understand you're not happy at Safelite? No. consider coming to work for us? Yeah. So he hands me a business card and says, call him and talk to him. Okay. So I called him and I had a conversation with him. And he goes, we'd love to offer you a position. And I'm telling you, James, right off the bat, they offered me $5 more an hour to come and work for them. So guess what? I was back
You,
at Safe Flight after that job going, here's my 2 weeks notice.
exactly.
Out, motherfucker, I'm
Yeah.
gone. And I already had known that I was underpaid at Safe Flight, that I was not being paid truly what I was worth, and I knew that.
Hmm.
But you can't walk in and threaten Safe Flight management because they don't care.
No, they'll take you in your van and leave.
You can park your van, get all your crap out, and bye.
Yep. We'll have another one in here. We'll have another person in here and tomorrow.
Yep.
Yep.
And won't miss you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yep.
So I gave my 2 weeks notice, and they thought that I was bluffing, thought I was wanting a raise. And they were like, oh, you know what, Jaymie, you can just clean your van out today. It's all right. Oh, I can't. Peace out.
Yeah.
Boy, I hauled ass home. And what they did, what local management, because I had seen management change so many times, they did not realize how much of the stuff that was on that van belonged to Jaymie.
Mm-hmm.
It did not belong to Safe Flight.
Well, that's the
Safe
thing.
Flight, the inverter and the glass rack, that was it.
Yeah, the new safe flight technicians don't realize, because I was there. I was there from 7 to 10, and they don't realize that we had to buy all of our own tools. Like, you
Right.
had to show up with tools, or they gave you a van with a glass rack and an inverter, like you said, and then everything else in the van was yours. And like now they don't have any of their own tools. Like, the tools are supposed to stay. We all see them for sale or whatever, but they're supposed to stay with that van, with that company, because they switched that. I can't remember what year it was. It was after I left. They switched that. But yeah, we had to buy all of our own tools. And for me, and if I can give a technician any kind of advice, and when it comes to something like that, buy your own tools. Buy your own tools. Buy your own tools. And the reason why I did it is because no one is going to tell me I can't feed my family. No one. 100%. No one. So if I have my own tools, I'm more marketable when it comes to other glass shops that need somebody to fill a van right away, or fill a shop position right away, or I need to subcontract for a while right away. And there's no one's going to tell me that I can't go feed my family. Sue my ass. Sue me then, because I'm going to feed my family. I'm going to take care of what I need to take care of. And you're not going to tell me that I can't take the tools because they're not mine and I won't have a way to feed my family. No, buy all your own tools, Tex. And I get sometimes your shop will work with you and do payroll deduct. If they're willing to do that, awesome. Negotiate it into your next raise. Like, hey, instead of giving me $1 an hour, will you give me a tool allowance a year? And if you do the $1 an hour, $1 an hour works out to $2,000 a year in tools. So you say, hey, of that $1 an hour, give me 50 cents an hour toward tool allowance. And then, you'll have some money to buy some tools if they're not willing to payroll deduct it. But, do not cut your feet off. Man. I'm running out of blades. Sharpen them so many times. Man. Who's that one guy? Sells the Glass Rebel. He's a huge distributor. The main Pro Set distributor. Drift Chris with TexasGlassTools.com. That's right. TexasGlassTools.com. That's who I need to call. He carries all the WRD stuff. These wing blade scrapers. That's right. He carries all the blades for the Glass Rebel. He carries the bat. He carries all WRD accessories. The Pro Set distributor. Man, that's who I have to call. I have to call Drift Chris, TexasGlassTools.com. That's who I need. Cut your feet out from under you by not having a way to go feed your family the next, and rely on the shop to give you tools. Market yourself as, I can come work right away. You can put me in a van. I have all my own stuff.
And when I went to work for that company, they weren't large. They're a nationally known company, but they're not large. They're franchised. And when I walked in, they had 5 other technicians when I walked in. Well, I don't know how much you know about Dallas Fort Worth. So we have Dallas County, we have Tarrant County. Tarrant County is Fort Worth and the surrounding area, and then we have Dallas County, which is Dallas and the surrounding area.
Mm.
So they told me, they're like, hey, because you live in Grand Prairie, we want you to run Tarrant County. Yeah, no problem. I ran circles around every single one of those guys they had at that shop. They had those 5 guys all work Dallas County. Tarrant County's not small. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Dallas County is large. So is Tarrant County. I ran Tarrant County all by myself, which
And they
means I drove.
had 5 and 1.
They had 5 over in Dallas.
Ooh.
There was 1 in Tarrant County that was me, which
Wow.
means I drove further between jobs than they did.
Wow.
I Every Wednesday we did a meeting. I never went to the shop. I went to the shop on Wednesdays only for the meetings. Other than that, I stayed in Tarrant County. They did top tech of the week. You got $25 cash at the meeting. Well, the first couple of weeks I didn't get it because, of course, I was getting my feet wet.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, after that, every freaking week I walked in, I got into that $25, and those guys were like, "God dang,
They got
what
tired of hearing
do
it.
I do?" And so they would get our we had a dispatcher. Her name was Tasha. She was great
Yeah.
because her dad was an autoglass tech. He didn't work for us at the time, but he was an autoglass tech. And they'd go, "How is it she's getting so much work done?" And she goes, "I don't know what to tell you, but I will tell you this: I can call Jaymie at 3:30 and ask her. I have a door glass or what have you. Will you take it?" And she never says no.
That willingness to do the one more, that willingness to do the one more. Hey, technicians, if you're listening to this, I get it's a different atmosphere that we're dealing with now, and work-life balance is very important, and I get it's a different atmosphere. But one thing that Jaymie and I definitely have in common is that willingness to do one more. You know, okay, yeah, it's going to take me that extra half hour, 45 minutes. I'm not getting home until, but as long as I did not have to move one of my kids' sporting events,
Right.
or one of their school events or something like that, that willingness to do one more, it gave me that extra hour's worth of salary, like pay per hour, instead of pay per part. But it also, not only did it helped that customer service relationship with the CSR, and it made my relationship with the CSR even better, because there was not this, and they looked out for me. They got to the point where, like, okay, yeah, I don't think that's going to work, so we'll move it. Or, hey, James, we got this one. Like you said, we got a door glass. The lady needs it. It's supposed to rain tonight. The guy needs it. He's leaving town. Is there any way you could hot shot over to the warehouse, grab one? Because we have Pilkington, PGW, IGC, Migrant, all within, it's like 45 minutes from Newark or Zanesville. Can you run over there, grab it, and go to? Absolutely, absolutely. Let the customer know to bear with me because of traffic and blah, blah, blah. You know how it rolls. But
Yep.
that willingness to do one more, you get that opportunity to learn the way that customer service learning, you get to learn that and how they appreciate it. You get the opportunity to add another skill set to, because each job you learn something. So you get the opportunity to learn, you get the opportunity to make your business better. It just, yeah, you're right. That sets you apart 100% from the other technicians in your shop, is that willingness to do one more.
And she even told me she was hesitant to ask any of those other guys. The later in the afternoon it got, she would be very hesitant. But to appease the CSRs who sold the job, she would call each one, "Hey, will you take on another one?" "No." "Will you take on another one?" "No." But she never hesitated to reach out to me and go, "Hey, would you be willing to take this on?" "Yeah, where's it at?"
And
Where?
CSRs that are listening right now, and management that is listening right now, you have to approach it as a grateful question. You cannot approach it as you have to do this. This is part of your job. You have to approach it as, hey, would you be willing to? And when they tell you no, maybe reinforce like, hey, we kind of really want to need to get this customer done. I really appreciate it. You will really be helping me out. My back's against the wall. Be very grateful that those technicians are there and that they're willing to take that extra one. It means so much to a technician, does it not?
Oh, absolutely. Just to hear, "Hey, we appreciate you."
Yeah, yeah. Just like, hey, thank you so much, because this customer was kind of leaning pretty hard into me, and the fact that I was able to, you were able to take it. I thank you so much, because it made that conversation so much easier after that. Instead of asking everybody and they come back, oh well, they can't really do it, and this customer's like leaning in on you. And I get it. Customers can be overbearing. I mean, we all know that. But
Yeah.
as far as if you're a manager or you're a CSR, the technicians, we're all human beings, and we deserve that gratitude of thank you for taking that extra job. Thank you for taking the extra time. Hey everybody, we had a really great week this week with no warranties. Thank you so much. Like really, realistically, thank you, because warranties give us a bad name in the community, whether it's, you know what I mean? So thank you, keeping the casualty loss. Thank you for getting all these jobs done. Like literally, that little bit of gratitude means so much to a technician. I know it did me, and it sounds like it did to you as well.
I because I never got that at Safelot. We never heard how much they appreciated us. Like we
Mm-hmm.
had a hailstorm one year that came through the Dallas Fort Worth area, and I mean it obliterated homes, let alone vehicles. It was bad. And we had been under a wage freeze for a couple of years. Well, I was dumb thinking, hey, we had this huge hailstorm. We kicked ass. We're gonna see raises, possibly even some bonuses this year.
Yeah.
They gave me a freaking duffel bag,
A duffel bag.
a duffel bag, not a shirt, not a jacket. We got a freaking duffel bag that said, I forget what it said on the side of it. An associate of mine still has his. I don't have anything in my house that says Flight on it anymore.
Yeah. Why are they so?
Oh, I have, but
Why are
the
they
rest.
so looked at like? Because it sounds like they have a hard time treating techs well, CSRs well. They have and their employees well, and then they have this. I don't know why, but most customers, not most, not I don't want to say most, because Safelite might have a better reputation, but I've seen a lot of complaint customers online through the YouTubes and Googles and all, but they're still like, so it has to be their connection to the insurance companies, because any other shop that acted like that would not be able to stay in business for very long, or else they would shrink. I mean, that's.
But that's why they have the complaints, because they don't have the senior technicians.
Mhm,
Uh, Most of your technicians with experience and knowledge that truly know what they're doing, they don't work for SafeFlight. And most of the technicians that are currently employed with SafeFlight are SafeFlight trained. And as well as I do, all they know is the wire system,
mhm,
Easy Wire. So with that being said, they're not marketable once they leave SafeFlight, because they don't know how to pull a coal knife. They've never held one. They certainly don't know how to use an extractor. They're not allowed to leave with the Easy Wire. So now not only are they limited to the amount of tools that they've used, now they don't have a tool
mhm,
because they haven't bought tools, and they weren't allowed to take the Easy Wire with them. So
mhm.
now their hands are tied, because now they've got to buy even the bat is what, 450, 500 now.
Something like that,
So
yeah.
so for them to go to work for someone, either that company is going to purchase that tool for them, purchase it for them in order to take it out of their check, or as a signing bonus, we will buy you a wire system.
System, yeah.
You know? So in fact, I had an associate not too long ago reach out to me because there was a female, worked for SafeFlight,
Mm-hmm.
got let go, was looking for a job. So he reached out to me. He said, where do you think I should send her? But did you ask her any questions like what tool she has? How long has she been doing it? And he goes, no. Well, those questions you need to ask.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to depend on where you can send her.
Yeah.
If can she set by herself? Can she set with a setting tool?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never seen her. So she's not been out on the road. And he goes, yeah, no, she did say she was working in the shop. I said, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Which means had someone to help her set that windshield in. So you're gonna have to go back and ask her some more questions. I said, I don't want to make it sound like I'm beating down on this woman, but those are valid questions for a glass company. Is they're gonna want to know, can she use a setting system? Does she have any tools? What is her experience? What is she physically capable of doing? Is that a question we would normally ask a man? No.
No. No.
But for a woman, we have to ask those questions because, and don't get me wrong, there are some very, very good women installers out there.
Mm-hmm.
Heather is one of them. But Heather will flat out tell you, I have never set a windshield by myself.
Yeah, and that's that's something that I respect that you're saying. I feel two-person set is way better, but setting tool, but us OGs that had the handset for all those years, those setting tools are so valuable now for like me, like the Pro Set and Little Buddy, and then that Panther tool was that the Panther Fit, that fully automated like electric one. That thing's pretty dope. Like
That thing,
realistically, that thing is pretty dope. Like honestly, it does you do have a learning curve with it, because as a technician, especially an OG technician, you're used to manhandling things, and you don't have to manhandle it. I'm sorry, you have to like be physical with it. You don't have to be physical with this one. So that one took me a minute to get my brain wrapped around, because I was like, wait, I need to no, let the tool work for you instead of working against the tool. But that's a great tool, especially if you're looking to set on your own and you don't have the physicality that is needed. But like, yeah, those are questions that need to be asked, and it's getting to the point now that it doesn't just need to be asked to the female technicians that are coming into the game either. It really like,
no, because I've talked to several. I don't even know if you want to call them technicians, but I have spoken to them up at the warehouses, because they'll come and they'll approach me and they're like, "Hey, um, how are you setting this? And how are you setting this by yourself?" And depending on what it is, I'll tell them, "Look, I have multiple setting systems. I have a Little Buddy, I have a Pro Set, I have a Pro 6."
mm-hmm.
Um, I said, "So I have multiple ways, but don't think I won't slap a stop on that thing, and don't think I won't do it, especially if I don't like the way that the Little Buddy is, whether or not it's gonna skirt underneath that fender. I'll slap a stop on that so fast and slide that windshield right across that stop and lay it in that hole, and they'll cock their head, stop."
Yeah, yeah, we're talking old when they don't know what a stop is.
Don't what I said, a windshield setting stop.
Yeah, what
Let,
is
let me show you what I'm talking about.
yeah.
And then you walk over and you're like, you need some self-tapping screws.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a lip to put this on. And then they're still like, I, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And you know what? But I see more and more companies around me that do have two people in a vehicle. There's
Mm-hmm.
not, but I am starting to see more and more where there are two of them, especially if they're short.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people. I'm short.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here.
I have multiple step stools and step ladders in my
Oh,
van.
platforms. Tell me how great that Gorilla platform is.
That thing is,
Oh my God, like Home Depot has those, and if you guys are listening, those Gorilla platforms that are fully adjustable, like, okay, so when we were setting the Tesla, it was just myself and my friend James setting the X, right? It was just the two of us. And so he's 6'7", so for him it's no big deal, you know what I mean? So for me, what I did was I took that Gorilla platform and I angled it like a ramp so I could walk up it. And it,
oh, that's a good idea.
yeah, so I walked up it like a ramp and I was able to set it because we two cupped it, you know what I mean? And we set it by ourselves. And like for him, it's no big deal. But for me, going up and over the front and everything, I was just like, yeah. Oh, and we did pull the hood, by the way. So just anybody who wants to know, we pulled the hood on that X to make it to where two people could set it. Instead of the normal 4 or 5 that Tesla use or people use, we pulled the hood so we can come up over and we didn't have anything obstructing us when we went in. But yeah, I took that platform and I went, and then I just walked up it like a ramp. And I mean, it was a little bit harder on my core and my back because of the fact I'm trying to balance this way and that way. But I was able to get up into a position that. But those Gorilla platforms, they have the wheel steps for the trucks. Those are nice. There's a company that are making these platforms for the semis to set windshields off of that roll up and over the tire, and it's a full step system, and then it's got a swing out gate so you can get right to it with a smaller platform. It's pretty awesome. They're in most of the semi truck repair shops. It's amazing, but I think it's like $1,800 or something like that. But it is an amazing little setup. It's pretty cool. I've only used one in my career, but it was well worth the money that they were asking. But obviously, I couldn't buy it. But yeah, get yourself some platforms, especially if you're shorter stature. The the 2-person set is really well if you're able to get somebody to throw you in a van. But if you don't have two in a van, you're going to need to either know how to hand set, you're going to need to know how to use a setting tool. There's especially anybody getting into the game. what would you tell a female technician coming into the game to really focus on? Because of the shorter statures most women have, because of the uphill climb they're going to have fitting into a pretty much all male environment, what would you tell them to focus on the most?
Um, what I focused on when I got into it was really just absorbing as much information from as many people as I could. Everybody does something a little bit different. Doesn't mean it's wrong, doesn't mean it's right. But you can usually figure out between the two which works best for you and what will actually work. And that's I was very fortunate. I'm not gonna lie. I have to give credit where credit was due. When I started learning how to really learn to install glass, I got fortunate and I got to work with some of the best people that at that time worked for SafeLot. One of them was Harris Billingsley. I mean, he gave me so much information. I don't even think he knows to this day what a good mentor he was for me. Another gentleman that mentored me, he's no longer with us. He passed away. But I don't, and I tried to, those guys didn't want to hear it. Hey, thanks for all your help. They didn't want to hear it.
Different
But,
generation. Different
right,
generation.
right, different, and they were willing to take a woman that nobody else, there was, as far as I knew of at that time, there was no other woman trying to install glass. And these guys accepted me, took me under their wing, and shared all their knowledge and experience with me. They didn't have to, but they did. And I can't tell them how much I appreciate that. And if you can find someone who is willing to do that, take advantage of it. Don't burn it out, but definitely take advantage of it. Ask them questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Definitely ask. Okay, why do you do that? Like, you still got these guys that are out there installing glass that don't understand why there's 2 beads of glue at the bottom of a windshield.
Oh yeah.
It's just a waste. We only need one.
No, you
No,
don't.
there is an absolute reason as to why that is
It's
there.
engineered
If
there.
you know, ask. So why are there 2 beads down there? Why is this set up like this? Don't be afraid to ask questions, because the more knowledge you have and the more knowledgeable you are, the better you're going to be at what you're doing. And for women, I don't care that it's 2025, you're still going to have to be better than everybody else. You're going to have to do the job twice as good as the man standing next to you, because it's going to get scrutinized. Believe it or not, I'm a little shocked today because I do own my own business. I'm not getting that as much as I did when I worked for SafeLot. It's even rare. Some men actually get excited when I'm on the phone with them. I'm like, yeah, I'll be out to, wait, you're coming out? Yeah, I'm going to come out and put your windshield in. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. So that's kind of cool today. The mentality is kind of shifted to where it's more acceptable for a woman to show up to do what a male has dominantly done in the past. We're starting to see a lot more females in the mechanic world
Mm-hmm.
owning their own mechanic shops. I've even seen a couple of women, they're not doing per se the body work, but they're painting.
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting to see women start to filter through the male dominated auto industry. And from what I've seen and from what I've heard, we're just so more detail oriented. We're so more of, hey, wipe that off, before you leave. Hey, get the blower out, blow those front seats out.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of guys would just be like, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Yeah, because we are judged by how we clean up. Mr. Bob Baranek is the one who really, really beat that into my head. And I thank him for it because, from reading his books back in the day, from reading all of his articles, and actually working for him being my boss with the Auto Glass University, his biggest thing was take the extra 3 seconds, wipe it off. When you're done with the job, make sure it is returned to the customer better than it was before, because they have no idea whether you installed that glass correctly. and they won't know unless there's a problem or there's an accident. That's when they'll know, or the next time that someone comes and does it, they'll tell them, oh, this person did a really good job the last one time they did the windshield. But they know whether they're getting their car back clean and whether the moldings are sitting the way they're supposed to, whether the cow's sitting the way it's supposed to. It performs acoustically because of you've tapped everything's right where it needs to be. It's decked to the right height, everything. It's cleaned up. You're absolutely right. We are judged how we clean up, and that customer will leave with a smile, not knowing if they're safe or not, but they're trusting because the car comes back cleaner that you're a professional and you did put that job in correctly. Then if there is an issue, they're going to be more forgiving because they're going like, well, they went the extra mile. Something had to happen. Not like, oh, I got it back and I had flakes of urethane on my seat, or I had flakes of urethane on my dash, or, the windows were still dirtier than dirt, or, like that molding was floppy or whatever. Then they're like, well, these guys don't know what they're doing. So when there is a problem, like, well, yep, I figured there was going to be something. But if you send it back to them cleaner than before, a little air I love this shit, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I fucking love this shit. So what I would do was, obviously, I vacuumed the floorboards. I washed all the windows. But when I went up to do my little spiel at the end to my customer service, right? I always went to the dollar store, and you would get packs of 3. The Dollar Tree is what it is around here now. It's like $1.25. But anyways, you get packs of 3 air fresheners, or the pack of 1, or the candle. And I threw them in this little bin that I got from there. And I'd go in and I'm giving them the spiel. I was like, look, I didn't want to put air freshener in a car that you didn't like the scent of, but here's what I have. And I want to let you know I'm doing this because we washed all the windows, I vacuumed your floorboard, but I want to make sure that you have this. It's just something nice. So I give them an air freshener, and I'm like, but if you want to come out and look, that would be great, because that way I know that we're actually on the same page and everything. And oh my goodness, they would light up. It didn't matter if it's a female, 80-year-old male, 26-year-old guy, whatever. They would just light up. And you start talking to them about their car. People love their cars, even if they doesn't look like, because they don't take care of it as well. They love their car. It gets them to work. It gets them to places they enjoy to go. They may take it for granted, but if you give it back to them and they're like, and then you're giving them a little air freshener and you're just like, thank you so much. I appreciate you letting me work on your car. It was a lot of fun. Everything went great. You got to reassure them everything went great. Wait your drive times. The calibration went fine. Here's a little air freshener. Here's a little sticker. Here's a little something. They remember that 100%. And then when they're online rolling through it, and someone says, hey, I need my windshield done at the soccer field. They're hearing someone talk about it. Who did you use? Oh, you know what? I use Superior Auto Glass in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and you know what? They took so good care of me. Listen, I got an air freshener when I was done. I got a little, and mine, like for a long time, I switched over to the air fresheners that were tape decks because, it's like a little hip hop style for me. So that was like, look, have you seen a tape deck before? Just kind of pump it up. And then, I got it done. Superior, Dallas-Fort Worth. It was amazing. They were very professional, and and it sells it because you took that extra 5 minutes to clean up. And I get sometimes our backs are against the wall, and you're looking that you've got 8 jobs, and you're on job number 3, and your day you feel like it's starting to fall apart. I'm not going to get done till 10, 11 o'clock at night, kind of thing. But you take that extra little 5 minutes, and it will make such a big difference to the customer. And so that's kind of my little rant, because those little things are what drive me, make me, I'm wearing an apron. I'm tucking my shirt in. I'm, before I went bald, I was wearing a hat. I was doing all these little things to look really good. I made sure my tools were clean. I made sure that the vehicle was protected. And anybody who knows me, I'm big on vehicle protection. The reason I'm big on vehicle protection is because even being careful, I've fucked some cars up, not meaning to, do this. So I'm huge on vehicle protection. It's like learn from what I did, not learn from your mistakes kind of thing. So I'm huge on vehicle protection, and then I'm huge on cleanup. And just, you look so much more professional when you're protecting a vehicle, and I know Curbo Covers is no longer in business doing their thing. They may pop back up at some point, but if you can get a cover, even if it's not the nice Curbo covers, but just protecting the vehicle, you look so much better than a guy down the road who is rolling up. Throw your apron on, brand it up, be clean, be neat, get your beard busted, get it all cleaned up, have a haircut, have your hands be clean, wear gloves all the time, to where when you're going up and your hands are finally in the customer's face, it's not covered with urethane, or if they are, clean them off real quick. Those little things do matter. And it took me a long time to really realize how much they mattered. Like I would have to say right shortly after I was employed with Safelight, because I was at Richardson before and then I left and went to Safelight. Richardson was real big on those fine attentions to details, which allowed me to be a great technician at Safelight. And then when I left Safelight and went back to Richardson, it was just reinforced. Those little things, they matter, you know, especially if you're an independent, you know, you have that. Anyways, all right, so we're over an hour, Jaymie, and I love it. I love this shit so much. The technical in and outs. I love what you said about, you know, coming in as a female. Use the tools to your advantage, but also find you that mentor. Ask those questions. The tools are there for our advantages now. That you don't have to worry about beating your elbows up as much as before, which is nice because we need to. Technicians need to stay in it longer and longer and longer. I mean, look, you know, like I'm still installing glass from time to time. You know, even being a trainer, I have to install. I installed a little bit last week. It was, you know, you still have to be able to have those functions. Get your platforms. Set yourself up for success. So I'm gonna ask you: is there plans to come to Reno?
You know, my associate that I go with him, he's already reserved a hotel, and he's like, I got a hotel with 2 beds, and I was like, yeah, let me think. And he was like, even if you don't compete, are you gonna go? And I'm like, because I'll be honest, flying my tools,
Mm.
I
Mm-hmm.
won't be doing.
It's tough, especially what happened to Mr. Escobar last year. He came in, Damien. He came in and he competed, and then he actually shipped them through Migrant, and his tools got lost. And so they had to fill out a huge, like, a thing, and I'm not even sure that the insurance has reimbursed them or yet or not. I know they have replaced them because they have their own shop or whatever, All American. But if you're flying with your tools or you're shipping your tools, we want you to come out and compete 100%. Take the extra and pay for the shipping, the insurance or whatever, because, reach out to Mr. Escobar. He will tell you what actually happened. That I don't want to see that happen, and I understand why you don't want to fly with your tools 100%. You would have to figure out a way to drive from Dallas to Reno, because I drove every year because of that. I drove to
Right.
everything, Dallas, East Coast. If I was competing this year in Reno, I'd be driving, just taking the week or whatever it is to come from Ohio to there, because of the fact that I didn't want to fly with my tools. I wanted them with me, so I
That would
understand it.
that's my deal. Is okay. I flew once. I won't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I would have to decide. Okay, am I taking the van? Do I really want to put all the miles on my work van, or do I want to put it in the truck and just drive the truck? So, because it'll be way more comfortable in the truck. But
Rental
you
car.
know,
You can always do a rental car.
it still have to be a truck to get
No,
my
yeah, no,
tools in.
no, yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
100%. But I mean,
and
to keep the miles.
yeah, I wouldn't mind taking the truck. The truck sits in the driveway 9 times out of 10 anyway. There's not a lot of miles on it. But that's kind of where my dilemma is I haven't decided, do I want to compete again? Because I learned a lot. I think that I could have scored more points had I known than what I know now, obviously.
Yep.
It never dawned on me to reach out to someone who had competed that already, it never dawned on me to do that. The fact that Heather did, she did really, really well. She reached out to Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin helped her, and she did amazingly well. And she and I have discussed, because she has a shop in Oklahoma, me coming up there and us preparing for it. So it's not a no, but it's not a definite hell yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah,
I just that decision yet,
I gotcha.
because it is an expense. It is a
Hmm.
week off.
Yeah,
It's not I have someone to go, hey, can you take care of this
like,
for me?
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I respect that. I respect that. But man, wouldn't it be awesome if you went up and compete and prepared with Heather, and you brought a few other females that were on the fence, and you guys had like a little boot camp at her shop and got ready, and then you brought a whole group of females together to compete, and you guys showed up. Imagine how cool that would be. Be like, because like I remember when Cody Allen's wife did the women rock chip repair, and she brought in a bunch of women came in, and they did, and it was like awesome. So it'd be cool to see you guys do something like that with. Oh, you guys had matching uniforms, just with your names, like your name, like you had Superior, she had her name, but you guys came out with like a pink or purple uniform, and every single one of the females that competed out of your camp. Oh, that would be so dope. Oh man, that would be cool. That'd be cool. Anyways, besides that little squirrel moment right there, but I
Well,
would
I mean,
like to see come out.
we've had a couple of women from the Facebook, because there's a women's only Facebook group for Autoglass,
Hmm?
and they have reached out, and Heather did offer for them to come to her shop. I said, let me know. I'll work it in my schedule somehow to come up there. So we've already discussed having some of them, if they want to go to her shop in Oklahoma, I'll meet them there and we'll do some training with them, because they're very much wanting. Their concern is they don't feel like, well, one, they feel like some of the training places are expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not cheap. But they also feel like it's not geared towards women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're not taking into account of the women's strength, women's knowledge, So we told them, yeah, if you want to come here, we'll definitely help you.
That's
You
awesome
know,
because you can have them do Gary Hart's little course right off the get, the IGA course, and so they can show up with a little bit of base knowledge, and then you guys can walk them through it. But you get a whole group, and you guys show up at Reno, and even if you're not, even if competing would be great, but even if you don't compete, you guys walk around and like have something that just distinguishes that you're all technicians. I think that would be great. But I'm not judging this year. I won't be a judge this year.
no,
Uh, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there, but I won't be judging. I won't be judging this year. I think there's some things in the works for me, but it won't be judging. So we'll see what happens there. But either
I'm
way,
sure you're busy.
I'll be 100% busy. We're gonna hopefully do some demos this year, and then I'll be there every day in a suit. I'll be there, being me and just trying to make everybody's Autoglass Week enjoyable. That because last year I tried to do that and it seemed to work out pretty good for me. So yeah, everybody come on out, Autoglass Week, Reno, get together. If Jaymie, if they are not part of the women's group, what is that women's group on Facebook? If they're women in the industry, do you remember what it's called?
Women in the autoglass industry, I believe, is the name.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Look that up, and make sure that everything. Get in there and reach out to Jaymie. Is it okay if the females reach out to you? And not only the females, males, anybody who has any questions, because you have a lot of knowledge. I mean, it's like here, like my knowledge might be here. Your knowledge is like here. I mean, because I keep trying to chase down what you've acquired and through experience and through learning and through everything that you're doing, through your businesses, through IGA, through every way that you contribute to the industry. But I'm still just slightly behind you. I'm just like, come on, slow down a little bit. Come on, slow down a little bit. So, I mean, anybody, is it okay if anybody, reaches out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I've never told anyone I won't talk to you. I've even had guys reach out to me and go, "Hey, I need to buy a windshield that's in your market. I don't have an account at this distributor because there's not one in my area. I'm going to be in your area and I need this windshield. Will you buy it on your account?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, how you plan on paying for it?" And I tell them, "Look, they'll take cash, they'll take a credit card there. So, absolutely, I'm happy to order it for you." I've had a gentleman out of Austin reach out to me and goes, "Hey, I picked up some Audis equipment really cheap. If you know of anyone looking for equipment, yeah, sure, I'll keep it in mind and I'll put the word out for you." And I've had some people reach out and ask me questions of, "Hey, how do I do this? How do I take care of this?" And then I'll tell them this is how I would do it. So, but I've never told anyone I'm not going to help you. Now, these guys that get on Facebook and ask for a VIN number every day, "Hey, you run this VIN?" No.
No, there's free,
No,
there's free VIN lookups.
and,
Uh,
and that drives me nuts. And these guys that it's in it, and it's the same 10 people every time I look at their name. "Hey, I'm going out to do such and such. Anything to look out for?" Dude, really? That job not be that hard. I'm pretty sure you can figure it out. You know,
yeah.
and, but in the same breath, though, I'm also not going to belittle someone because something that looks super easy to me, they've never seen before. They have
Mm-hmm.
no clue. So I'm gonna be like, okay, look,
Yeah. Okay. Look.
get
Uh.
here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm if I miss your call, don't take it personally. I will call you back. If you message me and I don't message you right back, I could be working. I could be
Mm-hmm.
on the, but I will get back to you. And as long as you're not calling me to just to be a moron, then yeah, reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Jaymie. I appreciate your time. I know you're waiting on a shipment, so we'll go ahead and
I'm
uh,
excited. Waiting
yeah,
on.
waiting on that equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and seeing as how that was my equipment before, anything that you have question wise, you'll figure it out. It's super easy. I mean, anything you have question wise, obviously hit me up. Anything I can do that way. But hang on a second. We got to wait till the upload's done before we hang up. But all right, everybody, thank you so much for listening. I've been the Ghost Set Killer, and my guest has been.
Jaymie Percival.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.